John Landau, producer of Alita Battle Angel, sits down with Cinema Blend and asks for Alita Army's help in getting an Alita sequel, saying, "I think the Alita Army should keep peppering our family now at Disney and let them know how important it is to have another Alita movie." A clear desire to make an Alita sequel and a call for help from our fans to let the Mouse House know we need a sequel to happen. And Rosa Salazar is on board, posting this to her Instagram followers saying hashtag Alita Army attack, with Salazar previously saying, "I would play Alita till my last breath." In this video, we cover the full details and also show a Twitter campaign aimed at getting awareness out for hashtag Alita sequel, trying to get it to trend starting Thursday morning. And this campaign has been actually picked up by Nick Carter of the Backstreet Boys, who tweeted to his nearly million followers, "I'm a part of this army, let's go. Hashtag Alita sequel," and mentioning all the Disney accounts we are targeting. In this video, I'll give you the full details, and at the end of the video, show you exactly how to schedule your tweets and the rules to follow to make this campaign effective. We also cover when an Alita sequel could come out, with some information from John Landau, talking about exactly when that could happen. Another article looking at the details of Alita's weight and the attention to detail they put forth in this movie, as well as a cut scene, a deleted scene from the movie that, according to Landau, we will never see. With all of these news coming at the time when Alita has been among the top 20 films of the year to advance in the Oscars visual effects race, and an update on the Alita Blu-ray numbers. And finally, I give you John Campia's reaction to the news that John Landau is asking for help with the Alita sequel, as well as my interpretation of whether this is a good thing or a bad thing, that Landau has to come to the fans to ask for help. The doctor is in. What's up guys, Doc Ito here with an Alita update. Remember to like and subscribe to the channel and hit the bell so you don't miss any of Doc Ito's free repairs. Sign the Alita petition below if you have not already, and remember to buy those Blu-rays baby at the links below to support this movie. This was the article that started it all, with Cinema Blend speaking to John Landau, producer of Alita Battle Angel, who revealed how he thinks the fans can help make Alita 2 happen. With Cinema Blend mentioning and linking to the petition, which was at 121,000 signatures, but will be crossing probably 126,000 signatures by the time this video is released. And the article mentioning that fans have been tweeting and commenting and asking for an Alita sequel. John Landau, who produced the movie with James Cameron, talked to Cinema Blend, and his advice to fans was basically to keep it up. What I think the Alita Army should do is keep peppering our family now at Disney and let them know how important it is to have another Alita movie, and hopefully we'll venture there one day. Which is very encouraging to us that have been fighting for the movie from the beginning and fighting for the sequel, because they have seen our efforts, and they essentially say what we're doing is right. We need to keep fighting because we do not stand by in the presence of evil, and we do not stand by the potential of an Alita sequel. Landau was also asked about when an Alita sequel could happen, but we'll get there in 1 second, because this interview was picked up by a lot of different places, including Bloody Disgusting, urging us to let Disney know we want a sequel. In this article, it mentions how this past summer, Rosa Salazar expressed interest in reprising the role, telling Film, "I would play Alita till my last breath. I would, and thanks to performance capture, I probably could. If you want it, ask for it. It certainly can't hurt." And Rosa herself, when she saw this article, shared it with her Instagram followers, which is her only social media account, saying hashtag Alita Army attack. She is on board with the Alita sequel for sure, and she's also on board with our efforts to getting the sequel and all of the support we've been raising for the movie online. All of the people calling us bots, all of the people criticizing our efforts are wrong, because now we have the movie's main star and its producer putting wind in our sails and essentially appreciating our efforts in trying to get an Alita sequel. And one of the ways we thought about spreading awareness of Alita is sending tweets to @DisneyMovies, @DisneyStudios, @20th Century Fox, and I would also add at Disney, with a thought to put these on Thursday morning, December 5th, trying to get the hashtag Alita sequel to trend. One of the questions is, when could a sequel actually be made? And here's what John said. I think when you talk about any movie, and I won't talk specifically about Alita, but your first step is writing a script. You've got to assume that's going to take 12 to 18 months to write a script. Assuming the script is great, you have then a 6 to 10 month pre-production. You then have a 6-month shoot. You then have a year of post-production, and that's just any movie of this ilk. So if you take 15 months with an 8-month pre-production, a 6-month shoot, and a year of post-production, that's 41 months. or about 3.5 years, just from when Alita would be greenlighted. And the fact that we're talking about this means the movie has not been greenlighted, because that's why he's urging people to ask Disney for a sequel. So unfortunately, it means probably about 4 years until we are looking at an Alita sequel, something about 2023, 2024, which seems like an eternity. It's not the news we wanted to hear. We'd love a sequel as soon as possible, but this is in line with other estimates and the numbers I've run in the past. A sequel is just not going to happen overnight, no matter how much we hope for it. Cinema Blend continues saying that's a lot of time, and they wonder, where would the movie go from here? And John replies, there's definitely more stories to tell. Absolutely. When Jim was going to direct us, which he was at a point, in his mind he had plotted out 2 additional stories of where we would go very specifically. So that gives us hope that this movie would be done quicker than that 3 to 4 time year period, because a lot of this work is already done. However, it's not going to happen in a year or 2. Now, it is possible this time frame would be quicker because, as John Landau said in a prior interview, Robert Rodriguez is quicker than James Cameron.
And if that can happen, and there's a long time gap between Avatar 1 and 2, are we going to have to wait that long for another Alita?
You know, look, if audiences want another Alita, I'm sure with Robert, we could... Robert does things much faster than Jim generally does.
That's fair. Thank you so much. It looks great.
Thank you. Have a great rest of your night.
So definitely encouraging that hopefully we could get this done quicker, but it's still going to be a while. It's not going to happen by next year. The next step he was asked is about Disney Plus and whether Alita could end up there. And what he said was, well, I won't speak specifically about Alita. I would just tell you I think Jim and I love the opportunity that streaming and these other avenues of distribution are offering people today. And you know, we would love to get into those playgrounds and play in them, no matter what the title is. So they're definitely open to having Alita on Disney Plus if you read through the tea leaves here. But of course, we would all love a full movie. We don't want just a Disney Plus series. Although, if it's something as good as The Mandalorian has turned out to be, maybe it's not the end of the world, especially if the alternative is no more Alita. It's definitely too early to tell what's going to happen with an Alita sequel, but with Rosa Salazar and John Landau now jumping on board, asking us to urge Disney for a sequel, we now have more openings to do this. And for those that don't have Twitter, please consider making a Twitter account. You can follow me at Alita Army and all of the other accounts that you're going to see a bunch of us tweeting about Alita, because this is one way to let Disney know that we are interested in a sequel. And while we are going to start tweeting tomorrow during that hour, we want to continue tweeting at Disney from here on out until we hear word that there is no sequel that's going to happen. If the movie is straight up canceled, then we give up. And even then, we won't give up, because we will never stop fighting for Alita, because this movie is so amazing. For those who are tweeting, use only one hashtag, hashtag Alita Sequel, and these are early morning times for most of the US. However, if you use something like TweetDeck, you can schedule tweets to go at a certain time. For those who are going to tweet, we'll give you more details on how to do this TweetDeck and some other rules, which I would recommend at the end of this video. Now, Nick Carter, the former Backstreet Boy, has been on the Alita Army bandwagon for a couple months. We made a video about him in the past, and he heard about this Alita Army effort, retweeting the @AlitaArmy account saying, I am a part of this army. Let's go. Hashtag Alita Sequel at Disney. So this is great news because Nick Carter has almost 1 million followers. He's had over 100 retweets of this tweet already. And now, hopefully we'll get a lot more people starting to tweet tomorrow. It would be fantastic if we could get hashtag Alita Sequel trending and Disney potentially to notice all of our efforts for a sequel. Later on in the video, we'll cover John Campia's reaction to petitions and tweeting at Disney, and he actually thinks it's not a bad idea. In other news, John Landau also spoke to Cinema Blend about other Alita-related things, including a deleted scene or a scene that was cut from the movie that fans will probably never see. With the article saying John Landau hopped on the phone with Cinema Blend to drum up awareness and support for the movie's top-tier visual effects, and he was asked about scenes cut from the movie. Landau said, there was a training sequence that we shot in an alley. Hugo is teaching her how to do the street motorball. That's really the only significant scene. Everything else is just trims and tucks. I'm not sure we're ever, because the finishing costs are so high on scenes that don't make it into the movie, I'm not sure we're going to release that. So why was this scene cut? As Landau says, it wasn't necessary when we looked at the movie. We felt we got everything out of her from a character standpoint by seeing her doing the street motorball and her motivation and her yearning to learn more about her past. We did not need another scene that did the same thing we were doing. It came across very strongly in the other scenes. So there it is. We'll probably never see the Alita street training with Hugo and Alita, but it's fine because the scenes we did get were fantastic. I especially love the first time she's out on court, and yes, while she struggles initially, she quickly picks it up and shows just how strong of a character she is. Landau also spoke to Cinema Blend about Alita's weight. When Cinema Blend asked Landau about these details, he said, "We play the two bodies that she's in the movie as having a different weight. Each one has a different weight. For the first body, which is the doll body, which Ito built for his daughter, she was human. So he needed to build a body that's light enough of weight where she could move and move naturally. So that's what they did. And that's what Alita enters our story with. When she goes to the Berserker body, that's a much heavier body. And Alita and her strength she's able to carry is something that was important for Rosa to understand and come to terms with as an actress. How she was performing and things like that. I think what she did was an exceptional job. So I totally agree. They spent so much detail here looking at the movie from all standpoints, and that's one of the reasons we love this movie, because of the attention to detail for it. And then Cinema Blend talks about how we're hoping to get more movies and how we are going to keep up the fight with Alita Army support. Now, I think Jon Landau did a lot of these interviews because Alita was actually nominated as a top 20 finalist for the Oscars in the visual effects race. Apparently later this month, the Academy will select a short list of 10 movies to go forward, with the whole list of movies, including Ad Astra, Aeronauts, Aladdin, Alita, Endgame, Captain Marvel, Cats, Dumbo, Fast and Furious, Ford Ferrari, Gemini Man, Irishman, Jumanji, Lion King, Men in Black, Midway, 1917, Spider-Man, Star Wars, and Terminator Dark Fate. Interesting, Star Wars is on this when they haven't even seen the movie. Well, I guess maybe some of them have. But Alita definitely deserves a nomination and should be a finalist for the movie because the effects were just incredible. And we want to see more of this in the Alita sequel. But while petitions and tweets can help, what really matters are numbers. And we're still waiting to get the numbers from Black Friday, with Alita combining Blu-ray and DVD at about 900,000 sales, which is not bad, putting it at 21 overall for this year, with about $20 million sold in the US domestic market. This has dropped off the top 20 in the Blu-ray for a few weeks. However, over Black Friday, Alita was number 6 at Amazon in the 4K sales and number 33 overall at Blu-ray. However, it actually sold out, meaning that it didn't print enough copies, or Disney/Fox only wanted to sell a certain amount at a discount. Last year, only the top 20 movies sold over 100,000 copies that week, which is what we were hoping for, something around 200 to 250,000 like Ready Player One, taking us to 1 million Blu-rays. However, number 33, we're wondering if it sold a lot less, maybe about 50 to 100,000. But interestingly, as Charlie Schmid reports, Amazon is still out of stock of Blu-rays, with a report that they'll only be back in stock on December 10th, meaning that Amazon might not have enough inventory. So maybe the sales have been stronger with the movie only available from other sources not sold by Amazon. And sure enough, if you check the 4K, you actually can't buy it from Amazon. It's a non-official source. But while the DVD is available from Amazon.com, the Blu-ray is only available from a third-party seller, as well as the 4K, which is very strange. And potentially good news if these movies are having to be printed again. Maybe Disney will get word that, hey, Alita is selling out and we need to make more copies. There's a lot of demand for a sequel. So looking at the big picture of this, is it a good thing or a bad thing that Jon Landau came out and urged Alita Army to support Alita and let Disney know that we want a sequel? Well, from a personal standpoint and Alita Army standpoint, it's good in the sense that they have our back, that they are essentially approving of our tactics of trying to support Alita, and that even the fact that they're using the terms Alita Army is encouraging. However, it would have been much better if they just came out and announced a sequel. The fact that they are asking for our help essentially to get a sequel in some ways is not good news. It means that a sequel is not being greenlit, and that now Landau and Rosa are coming to the fans trying to push Disney forward into getting a sequel made. So the fact that we are at this stage where now it's sort of on us to try to support Alita is not great. We'd much rather be at the stage where a sequel was already greenlit. But it is what it is, and we have a responsibility now and a opportunity to let Disney know, to encourage our friends in real life to get the movie, to get extra copies for Christmas with the holidays coming up, growing the fan base, getting good streaming numbers for this movie, and getting those Blu-rays sales as high as possible, which is going to be our best shot at an Alita sequel. And while we have our disagreements with John Campea, and people have differing opinions about him, he did talk about a potential sequel after Jon Landau asked for our support, and here's what he said.
If we keep peppering Disney, maybe we'll get there someday. So right now it sounds like there are no plans for another Alita movie, which I think is unfortunate, because I thought they had some places to go. Because you guys know when it comes to movies, I think fan petitions are the most useless thing. But that's normally when it comes to things like fans demanding something unreasonable. So I'm usually just, when it comes to fan petitions, including my own, I think I just dismiss them. The studio doesn't pay attention to them, they don't care, all that kind of stuff. But I think this type of a situation is a little bit different. Like, this isn't a situation where we're saying, tell them to undo this or to remake that. This is just a producer saying, hey, if you want a particular movie, just keep telling the studio you want to see a sequel. Ask them to make a sequel. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Actually, I read some people writing to me saying they had a problem with John Landau trying to motivate the fan base and mobilize them and to get them to write to Disney saying that's not his place to do it. And I disagree. I think a producer telling a fan base, hey, if you want another movie, raise your voice. Let them know you'd love to see a second film. Let them know that if you make another film, we'll come out and support it. Now, how much of an effect will that have? I'm not sure it'll have that big of an effect because Disney can hear the voices, but what they're more concerned about is looking at the numbers. And the numbers were, an Alita costs this much, and it only made this much at the box office. Can it make more? And that really what it's all going to come down to. So honestly, I don't think Disney or Warner Brothers or Paramount are going to listen too much anyway, but it can't hurt. It can't hurt. And personally, I think that Alita is one of these movies that can do better at the box office the second time around. I think if they go in and make another one, keep the good things, improve some of the weaker things of the original film, and use positive word of mouth, I think a second film, it won't be $1 billion movie, and that's fine, but I think it can do better than the $400 million. So, do I think it's really going to change anything? Probably not, but you know what? It can't hurt, so I think this is a good move.
So I actually agree with Campia. It cannot hurt, and it might help, and the fact that now we have John Landau's backing and Rosa Salazar's backing is good because whenever someone comes at us and says we're bots, we can say, no, the producer of this movie said this is reasonable. So I do think this is a great opportunity for us to spread awareness of Alita Battle Angel. And like I said, Thursday morning, our campaign starts where we are going to start supporting Alita, tweeting at Disney, and trying to raise awareness with the hashtag Alita Sequel to try to get it trending. And here are the times: 3 a.m. Pacific, 6 a.m. Eastern, and you see the other times on there. It is very early. We have some other people on Twitter that have done the analytics with our best shot at getting the hashtag to trend. That's part of the reason it's so early. And you can check the link below to my Twitter where I have the link to the tweet deck and how to schedule tweets on Twitter using this, visiting tweetdeck.com, clicking a tweet composer to write your tweet, scheduling the tweet, and so on and so forth. Now, when we do this, it's still going to be important for you guys to check in to see the other tweets from the other individuals, to retweet everybody who's talking about Alita, and of course use the single hashtag Alita Sequel, because a single hashtag is going to do a lot more for their algorithms to see what exactly is trending. And hopefully Nick Carter's going to join in because he retweeted the initial instructions. So here is TweetDeck. I deleted all the columns, but you can have a bunch of columns looking at your notifications, messages, everything else. I wrote my tweet up here and added a GIF, and then what you can do, you can hit over here to schedule the tweet, and you can say, put Thursday date and the time in the morning when you want this tweeted out, and then you say tweet, and that will send the tweet out in the morning. But remember to also check out all the other tweets and retweet once you're actually up in the morning, and you can schedule several tweets. Also try not to schedule it exactly at 5 a.m. or whatever time it is in your time zone, so we don't get every single tweet coming out within a few seconds. Stagger them, a few minutes apart. And again, the website is tweetdeck.twitter.com. So overall, it's encouraging to me that we're seeing a significant push from the people involved with Alita to try to get this Alita sequel. The fact that they are working and continuing to fight for the movie gives us hope that we will actually get this to happen. Of course, it's up to us to also help, and we're going to do our best tomorrow because we do not stand by in the presence of evil. Of course, my updates are a little less frequent, as there's been a little bit less news on the Alita front. We are still fighting for Alita and still fighting for this movie. But like I've always said, I don't just make videos for the sake of them. If there's something worthwhile, I will post. And yes, I am still working on a couple other videos, kind of different than a regular update like this. However, things have also been a little bit hectic for this Hunter Warrior, leading me to official Hunter Warrior duty in other places, so my video editing has taken a toll, but it will be done at some point, and I look forward to that time. So you all have a great day until then, God bless, and we'll talk to you soon. Doc out.